Hidden Strike 2023. The film opens amid chaos in war-torn Iraq as oil facilities burn and civilians flee violence. Luo Feng, a seasoned Chinese private security operative, leads an evacuation convoy through hostile territory. Explosions shake the desert while mercenaries attack relentlessly. Luo's discipline and combat skills save lives, but danger surrounds them constantly. Meanwhile, American ex-Marine Chris Van Horn survives as a lone fighter protecting refugees using brute force and instinct. Fate draws both men toward the same highway, a deadly stretch known as the Highway of Death. As missiles fall and engines roar, survival becomes the only objective driving every decision forward. Luo Feng's convoy faces ambush after ambush as mercenaries seek control of oil resources. Using tactical intelligence, Luo coordinates defenses, rescues civilians, and pushes forward despite overwhelming odds. Chris Van Horn enters the conflict unexpectedly, smashing through enemies with sheer aggression. Their first encounter is tense, marked by mistrust and cultural divide. However, circumstances force cooperation when civilians are trapped between armed factions. Reluctantly, they fight side by side, discovering complementary strengths. Luo's precision balances Chris's raw power. As enemies regroup, both men realize this mission is bigger than personal survival. Protecting innocents becomes the shared purpose binding them together against ruthless forces driven by greed. The convoy pushes deeper into hostile territory, pursued by mercenary leader Owen Paddock, a former ally turned villain obsessed with seizing oil wealth. Paddock commands advanced weapons and ruthless soldiers. Luo uncovers the conspiracy behind the attacks, revealing corporate corruption fueling war. Chris, haunted by past failures, sees redemption through protecting civilians. Along the highway, they encounter booby traps, airstrikes, and relentless assaults. Tension grows between tactical restraint and reckless courage. Despite disagreements, Luo and Chris adapt, improvising under fire. Each battle forges trust through blood and sacrifice. The desert becomes a crucible testing loyalty, morality, and the cost of choosing humanity over profit. As supplies dwindle, the convoy shelters in ruined towns and abandoned checkpoints. Civilians struggle with fear and exhaustion. Luo offers calm leadership, inspiring hope. Chris bonds with displaced families, softening his hardened exterior. Mercenaries strike again using drones and armored vehicles, escalating the conflict. Luo devises ambush strategies, while Chris draws enemy fire. Their teamwork improves, blending strategy and strength. Paddock closes in, determined to eliminate Luo and reclaim control. Flashbacks reveal his betrayal and obsession with power. The highway stretches endlessly, littered with wreckage from past wars. Each mile traveled represents defiance against those who profit from endless conflict and suffering. A massive battle erupts at an oil refinery where mercenaries attempt takeover. Explosions light the night sky as Luo leads civilians to safety through pipelines and scaffolding. Chris confronts waves of enemies head-on, showcasing brutal efficiency. Together they sabotage enemy equipment, crippling Paddock's forces temporarily. However, losses mount and time runs out. Luo realizes evacuation alone won't stop the threat. The refinery symbolizes everything wrong with the war greed fueling destruction. Choosing to fight back decisively, Luo and Chris plan a final strike to destroy mercenary operations. The mission shifts from escape to justice, demanding courage beyond survival instincts alone. Paddock captures civilians to lure Luo into a trap. Ignoring orders, Luo advances, supported by Chris. The rescue mission unfolds across collapsing structures and burning oil fields. Hand-to-hand combat dominates as bullets run low. Chris confronts Paddock's lieutenants with relentless fury, while Luo navigates tactical chaos. They rescue hostages, but face overwhelming reinforcements. Trust between the two men becomes unbreakable. Luo's calm focus guides Chris's rage. Together they turn the battlefield into controlled chaos, using terrain creatively. Civilians escape as mercenaries fall. Paddock retreats but vows revenge. The heroes stand bloodied yet unbroken, knowing the final confrontation is inevitable and approaching fast. The convoy reaches the final stretch of the Highway of Death. Paddock launches his ultimate assault using heavy artillery and air support. Chaos engulfs the desert. Luo coordinates a defensive perimeter while Chris leads counterattacks. Explosions carve craters around fleeing vehicles. Despite injuries, they hold the line long enough for evacuation aircraft to approach. Luo sacrifices tactical advantage to save trapped civilians, nearly costing his life. Chris rescues him, cementing brotherhood forged in fire. As evacuation succeeds, Paddock intercepts them personally. The final battle becomes inevitable, fueled by betrayal, greed, and clashing ideologies about power, loyalty, and the true price of war. Luo and Chris confront Paddock in brutal close combat amid burning wreckage. The fight is raw and personal. Paddock mocks ideals of honor, claiming survival belongs to the ruthless. Luo counters with discipline and purpose. Chris unleashes rage born from regret and loss. Together they overpower Paddock, ending his reign of exploitation. As the villain falls, mercenary forces collapse without leadership. Silence follows chaos. The desert settles. Evacuation completes successfully. Survivors watch the horizon, grateful and stunned. Luo and Chris stand exhausted, victorious but changed. The highway claims no more lives today. Justice, though costly, has been served through unity across cultures. After the mission, global attention exposes corporate corruption behind the conflict. Evidence gathered by Luo dismantles the network funding mercenaries. Chris declines praise, choosing quiet departure. Luo returns home, carrying memories of sacrifice and brotherhood. Civilians resettle, forever marked by survival. The Highway of Death becomes a symbol not just of destruction, but resilience. The bond between Luo and Chris transcends nationality, proving humanity exists beyond borders. War profiteers fall, though conflict persists elsewhere. Both men understand peace requires constant vigilance. Their journey ends not in celebration, but reflection. The strike was hidden, but its impact reshaped lives and challenged systems built on greed forever. Hidden Strike concludes as an action-driven war film centered on humanity within chaos. Explosions and combat serve a deeper message about responsibility, cooperation, and moral courage. Luo Feng represents discipline and strategic compassion, while Chris Van Horn embodies raw strength tempered by empathy. Together, they show unity over division. The film condemns exploitation and glorifies protection of innocence. Amid bullets and fire, compassion becomes the strongest weapon. The Highway of Death transforms from symbol of despair to testament of resistance. Hidden Strike reminds audiences that true heroes fight not for profit or power, but for lives. Even in war's darkest roads, choices define legacy and redemption remains possible for those who stand together.